You know the routine. It's Monday Night Raw. It is a 239 race boat. 239 race boat. Whoa. Yeah. All right. Man, oh man. Let's make it happen. You know the routine. It is the Cardone's Race Corner. It is Monday Night Raw, and we are coming in hot. Boy, I was having like a 5-minute. The computer. I don't know what's going on with all the computer stuff, but it keeps ridiculously changing my audios for some reason, and it's so frustrating. So I didn't have computer output in here, but now we have computer output. Let's go. Man. All right. So we had a race over the weekend. We've got races coming up. We've got talking to talk about, subjects to talk about, and much more. Pot stirring, I guess you could say. I don't know, maybe something like that. But all right. Just want to shout out to all the YouTube people tuning in, all the Instagram people tuning in. I appreciate it. And Facebook, as always. I'm going to tell you guys right up, we're probably going to be streaming to Facebook a couple more times, and then we're done with Facebook. I'm not dealing with it anymore. They are charging me revenue on music and this and that, and they're like deleting my videos. They're just, this Facebook has become the biggest nightmare. Really, when it comes down to it, I'm not done dealing with it. It's like ridiculous. So if you guys can really get down to it, why is this? Oh, I had the other. What in the world's going on? There we go. I had the wrong microphone going. Jeez, I had my other mic going. I'm like, why is it so loud in my headset? Jeez Louise. All right, so 1, 2, there we go. Now we're back to where we need to go. All right, sorry. So we're going to get back to the show. We're going to start just really focusing on trying to make this streamline a lot better. Justin Bradley, good to see you guys in the room. You're on YouTube, so thank you so much. Zarzinski's in the house. Ben's is in the room. We need one more day for the weekend. Yeah, it's Monday already. Man, Benz, I'm glad to see you're doing good and kicking it. Annie, Wild West Watercross Round 2 at Camp Far West, May 16, 18. And look, I've already got, look, I'm just going to click over here. Where is it at? Where is it at? Look, there's the scene. I had the Wild West up and ready. Ta-da! Come on now. You know I'm already going to be talking about that one. Trey Williams in the room. We got some videos. We got some smack talking. And I got, you know what? I actually got a couple things I want to talk about. Right? When we get into the show, Trey Williams got some awesome videos from the runabout race over the weekend with Pro Watercross with Dominic Barella. And, hold on. And we're gonna go over those videos, but I wanted to talk to you guys about something. Like, for instance, here's a good picture right here. Here's a good picture, right? Lots of people on the shore, lots of racers, right? Now, I was thinking about something the other day, and it had me, someone made a comment, and it's been sticking with me for a little while. I saw some guy talking about racing back in Alamorada. He was reaching out to Anna about getting on her podcast to talk about what it was like back in the day, this and that, and some other stuff. And it had me thinking, because before I saw that comment, I was already talking to somebody else about something else. And it really made me think about this one. Think about this. Look about the big, let's think about this. Look back, let's say 17, 18, 19, Pro Watercross. Huge lines, right? All of us. And some of the other racing that was out there. World finals, etc., etc. Now, think about this for a moment. How many big names or little names do we still see in the sport that used to funnel a ton of money into racing for their kids or for themselves? Like, for instance, here's a good one for you. Gentleman Jim Bennett. How many of you guys remember who Gentleman Jim Bennett is? Right? He was a runabout racer. He had Tattoo Rich Racing, Richard Bailey in his corner. And Jim used to race four-wheelers back in the day and was very competitive. He got into runabout class and was super competitive. Not only did he get himself into racing, but he also got one of his best friends involved and got him racing, and their kids got into racing. Now think about that. One person started, he got his other friend in for 2 racing, and then his kids got into racing, right? That's 3 people or 4 people right there in line for racing, right? Why? Because he was happy, he was interested, and was into it. Now think about this. Buying a brand new runabout, a brand new trailer, trucks, entry fees, gear, all that stuff, right? That stuff goes a long ways. Now, how many other racers do we have out there that used to be in the sport heavy and not into it no more? Prime example, the Skellets. Skellett family. Chris Skellett with Taylor Skellett and Hayden Skellett used to hammer all the racing. Big time racers. The sport GP class, ski class, the stand-up classes, the sport classes. They got into it heavy, right? Not in the sport no more. Very rarely, right? Obviously, kids are getting into teenagers. They're getting to do other things, high school, blah, blah. But that's just another name. Now, think about this for a moment. How many more other names do we know? I can continue going on for a while. We got Johnny Smith, Glenn Young. Those are two names right there that kind of come and go every once in a while, but they were heavy into sport GP world, big time. And Johnny Smith even got into runabout for racing P1, right? Glenn Young got into it heavy too and just got tired of nonsense and went back to racing other things. He raced cars, and now he's racing side by side, stuff like that. But my motto is this: you guys are all talking about how the sport's dying and right? But he never really stopped to think about how did the sport die, right? It's not all promoters, right? It's not always something of this and that, right? It just comes to a point, you ever realize that it gets to a point where there's no new young people getting into sport, right? And if there is young people getting into sport, they can only do a couple things in the sport before they get to an age, and then where do we go? If we don't have the funneling of the racers in the sport, then the sport will never exceed to a level it's at. To go to talking about how the sport was, hold on a second. Going back to how the sport was, it was getting hot, turn AC down. Going back to the sport, how it was back in the day. Mind you, 80s and 90s, we didn't have runabouts back then. We had those skidoos and stuff like that, but the manufacturers were heavy in the ski class, the 550 class, the 450s, and all that nonsense, right? That is when the manufacturers started having battles, right? Got to get their name out there. They got to funnel. They got to put sponsorships in there. Blah 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 blah. That's how they got it going. Got it going. Then the lines got big, and everybody got big because there was money to chase and have fun. And this, the beaches were going. Social media was not existing back then. And 90% of the entertainment that we have today never existed, right? So how else will things shine? I remember offshore powerboat racing was freaking huge. Same time when the guys were racing Fort Myers Beach, jet ski racing, I was there. Powerboat boat racing used to race real courses, like 10-mile races, where you couldn't see the boats for 5 minutes and then they come back around. Everything gets streamlined, right? So you guys have to like get this mindset. We're in a whole different world, 21st century. Millions of different things going on out there. You have to accept the fact it's never going to grow unless we start growing in certain fields of what happens. Scott Fraser called me last week after our Monday show, and we shared that open line of communication about the spec rules. You guys, mad props to everybody that emailed and went out there and got involved, because he actually made a phone call and said he's never received as many emails and suggestions to make a change for the sport in all of his career, right? And he said that in a good mood. He didn't say it in a shitty mood or anything like that. He said it in a real deal mood. Now, you guys gonna have your opinion about Scott and this and that. You're all gonna hate it just like the president. It doesn't matter what the president does, you're all gonna hate him for something, right? Doesn't matter if it's Biden, Bush, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Trump. It doesn't matter who it is. Person that's in charge behind a committee is always going to be the target of the community, right? We could have some other asshole that doesn't give two shits about you guys out there doing it. You guys will still complain. You could have a guy out there that will give you Sunday cakes and a mystery box every time you pay for your membership, and you still complain. Oh, my mystery box, I got a box of cookies, man. It fucking sucked. I'm allergic to cookies. You guys always bitch. That's the nature of human nature. But the reality is, if we keep continuing that drive and keep adding and showing that we want the sport to grow, then it's going to make changes. The sport class is only fueled by us. No one else. Nobody else is involved in the sport class. There's no money funneling into that class. They're not even making aftermarket parts for that anymore, right? It's just how it is. Remember when DASA carbs and intakes came out? They were like $1,500 for an intake and stuff like that. Huge. The sport class was getting huge with stuff, and they got all shot up with some bullshit. Now there's not much being made. What I'm trying to explain to you guys, if you guys continue to gripe and bitch about certain classes, they're just going to disappear, and we're going to be jumping on what manufacturers are going to involve. The Superjet, the SXR, that fixed steer XXR that's being manufactured now. The EX, the 1100 class, the Sport class. How many of you guys really want to race an EX? How many of you really want to race an EX? There's no way in hell you're going to get bond rail to bond rail racing with 18 EXs on the line like a sport class, going into the turn and coming out unscathed. It's never going to happen, right? Scott has been very open and willing to change. That's right, Hotchkiss. Osborne says, I need a rack of 348 DOSes if anyone has someone to sell. Michael Osborne's looking for some stuff. Help him out. So what I'm trying to say is this. Our sport is doing good. It's amazing to see the West Coast mentality versus the East Coast mentality. Over the weekend, we had Pro Watercross racing, and Kevin Scott was your race director, and it was a good, solid weekend for Pro Watercross. Was it the entries that we wanted? They wanted? More likely, no. They weren't. But I can say one thing for sure, me attending there and doing the event for Saturday and then going back Sunday, I can say this. If Kevin Scott continues to have the reins of the show himself and AJ leaves him alone, like he said in Riders meeting, he legitimately said Kevin is the race director and AJ wants nothing to do with any racing situations, issue, complaints, cries, anything like that. If he continues to do that path, Kevin can continue to drive that region of racing back to a good caliper. Now, I'm not saying the stripes have changed, but if you give it a chance, you know what? It could be something. I have to say this. I'm going to give a mad shout out to Kevin Scott for one thing for sure, because I went there to race the runabout along with Trey, Williams, Dominic, and like 7 other runabout guys, and we were having issues with the RXPX coming from Gunnersville, Alabama, but we were able to clear it out. And I made a stupid call and missed a buoy on the start. And instead of me just being a lap down, they called a red flag and brought us back on and reshaped us. But it ended up having an issue with the boat, and it wasn't able to race the rest of the weekend. Instead of me just packing up and saying, well, that's just it, you know, it is what it is, Kevin came up to me, asked me if my sport boat was able to race, because I did have it on site. I said, yeah, I can race. I just don't know if it's going to compete or do anything because we haven't touched it since Gunnersville and we were having trim issues. I did have a trim issue situated and I haven't tested yet. And I said, yeah. He goes, if I can switch over your payment from the runabout to the sport class, would you race? I said, hell yeah. So mad applause to Kevin Scott for going above what he needed to do to keep me racing and actually having a decent weekend, having fun. And that goes to show me that the character that we have as a race director is working to give us the best that we can. You know, as many people want to complain and cry about certain things, I understand. But if we give it a chance, might as well give it a chance. Now, I still have my own personal opinions and my own personal grudges, you can say. But that's on a personal level with someone on a personal level. For racing, it is what it is. And I've told you guys 100 times that we should just support if there's racing around us. And you know what? There was racing there. Why not do it? It was an hour from my house, and I had a good time. The one thing I can say, and this is one thing for sure, I will say this. I totally forgot what it's like racing a big-ass course with 30 buoys. all these small regional level races where you guys have like the AJSA guys, they have the blue with yellow stripes for inside or outside, whatever it is, and they have another buoys. All the buoys are like semi-colored, and you basically see the course and understand what's going on. I forgot what it was like racing a 30-plus buoy course where there is no color coordination. It's just knowing the course. So that's where we're at, as it should be. So what we got here, Trey Williams, that was cool. Always fun at Pro Watercross. Had 7 on line, a few more runabouts, and it would have been stacked. Trey, it was pretty good. East Coast, we had our boy Sean Dudek in there, right? Of East Coast Watercross. Let's see where he's at. I want to bring that one up. Where's he at? Oh, I lost him. So our boy Sean has really been putting in work. We're going to be talking about some more stuff tonight too. But our boy Sean is putting in heavy work. I've been with him 3 races now, right? I think the dude's tired of seeing me Most definitely tired of seeing me, but he's definitely got a different perspective with being around me. The dude's putting in work for a winter series for next year. If you guys haven't seen the post and what he's talking about, you should really take a chance. I've seen 2 of the sites that he was looking at, and I know some of the sites that he's been going to. Not only have I been to them because I live in Florida and been around a lot, I have not raced some of them, but there's a couple of them that are really, really nice. Like the one right there, that's a badass lake. It really is a nice lake, and it's really exciting. If you get a chance, read the post, email Sean, talk to him, give your insights. When we came to Lake Alfred in February, I was expecting to see 100+ racers, and we only saw 90. There's plenty more of you Florida boys out there that could race. So make sure you reach out to him. Let's get some racing going on there and make it happening. Norm, if pickleball and cornhole is your new sport, then you need to change your Facebook page and stop riding a boat. Just get rid of the Facebook page. Go get a hacky sack and get one of your California hats on, and that's where your new profile picture is. All right? Just make it happen. So, make sure you shout out the East Coast Watercross. They got that going on. And they got their first race coming up also, which I believe is going to be the 30th and June 1st, Laconia, New Hampshire. That water's going to be cold, dude. That water is going to be cold. Our racing schedule, if you guys think about it, we got this right here. Let's see if it brings it up. Let's see where it's at. So, our wake coming up the race right now, we got May. So the 9th through 11th is going to be Chester Frost Park, Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is going to be the PWC Sprint Racing. Now, John Block is really putting in heavy work on this one. We're going to talk about that one also. So the 10th and 11th, which will be the same weekend, that's going to be the PNW Water X Racing guys. They're going to have their first race round going on. And then the 16th, 18th is going to be Camp Far West, Wheatland, California, which is going to be Wild West Watercross second round. They got their coming up. The 17th and 18th is going to be the second round of Pro Watercross, which is going to be in Keystone Heights. I was talking to Kevin, and he's looking at working out a sweet course for us on that one if you guys show up. The 24th and 25th is going to be Paris, Texas, which will be the Outlaw Series Naughty Water Racing. And shout out to Justin James coming over all the way out there and hanging out with us also. Got to hang out with him and talk to him for a bit over the weekend also. The 30th and to the 1st will be Chattanooga, Tennessee, which will be the American Jet Sport Association, will be their second round of racing. And then the 30th and the 1st will be East Coast Watercross, which I believe that's going to be Laconia. That's going to be their first race. So that's where we are right there with that one going into it. So month is looking pretty tight already going with it as it is. And here we are back at the Wild West, guys. So I believe they got a race. Yeah, prize money alert. We meant to talk about this last time. I forgot to bring it up. So, right here where we are is here's your current prize money classes for round 2, Camp Far West. See you soon on the road, Sparks to Marina. Stay wild. Sports Spectre is $1,500 on the line at Top End Unlimited, and a non sponsor paid 1st through 5th. 1st through 5th is nice, right? Women's Sports Spec winner was $100 courtesy of all Steam, I don't know, Steamed Up? I don't know what that is. Women's Vintage is $250 by Jet Pump Fit, paid 1st through 3rd. Sport GP Women's Vintage Vet Stock, first place, $100 gift card from M Pros Impellers. Junior Ski 10 to 12 is $500. You need minimum 2 racers. Sponsored by Billings Transfer of Travis Billings. $300 hole shot winners, class to be announced, sponsored by Commander. So that's where it's at right there. So that's going to be the, I believe it's the, what is it called? The Road to Sparks. So check it out. Round 2, baby. You guys got money on the line. Now here's another example of our promoters putting in work for the classes, right? Now we've always talked about this for the largest class. The largest class should usually get some kind of like not treatment, but like something. If you guys want to build an incentive as a promoter and racers, promoters, you should already know what class is your premier class, right? If sport class has been turned out to be a good class, this is a reason why a lot of you sport racers should be speaking up and putting your words in about these rule changes and suggestions, because as Sean Dudek said in a conversation, that when 18 sport spec guys line up, they're paying the bills. Think about that. 18 boats at, let's say, $100, that's $1,800 right there. Paying the bills. That could pay employees for the day. You know, that's enough to pay employees for the day if it comes out to like that. So you know what I'm saying? So like, if you taking care of your class is the largest, why not make an incentive? Get some competition. Now, if you're going to have incentives like this, then we need to focus on making sure tech is at point. It really comes down to what we were talking about before. We've said this before with tech. You know, you should always have someone that's not favored or has any feelings into anything involved with that weekend of racing. So if they have a boat involved, then someone should tech that boat outside of them, and they should be finishing the job if they're a tech inspector. You know what I'm saying? Rules should be called no matter what. We should be calling flags and calling anything no matter what the time crunch is, and just make it efficient. Because I promise you, if we call the same calls like we did first half in the morning, and we call them again the same afternoon, the same effectiveness and diligence, then the racers are going to understand that they're going to get their dollars worth no matter what. Nothing's worse than having Moto 2 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you can feel like you're being rushed through your race. That's the worst feeling ever. Not only does it frustrate you, but it takes the motivation and the excitement out of that race. Especially if you know that someone's cheating on the line, or someone jumped the line, or someone missed a buoy, or this and that, and our score people are just, they're tired of looking at numbers, and the guy calling out numbers, his voice is shot, and they're just like, yeah, he got it, yeah, I didn't see it, yeah, he hit the joker. Nothing's more disgusting feeling than knowing that that's what's happening, right? And people can see that. Just make sure you got to keep, as a leader, a race director, and a promoter, you got to keep the leadership of your staff high. Keep them energized, keep them excited, make sure they feel like they're getting, you know, good attitude back from you, because it will just chew you up. I'm telling you right now, you'll get chewed up and get spit out, and you're going to be upset about it really quick. Oh man, what happened? Nope. All right, here we go. You know, so that's what I'm saying. So good thing the Wild West, their guys are pulling it together with something nice right there. What we got here? Let's see what's up with the chat room. Let's see what we got. Michael Stress says, Bobby, how can I get a copy of the schedule from all the promos you just posted? So Stress, it will be in the PWC racing schedule, which will be right here. If you go to PWC racing schedule, which is right here, you'll go to files, right? And then right here, the 2025 US and Canada PWC racing schedule, chronological order. And you can see Kirsten has updated it April 14th, 2025. And then you just click on it, download it, and it'll save it in your file, and there you go. And he says we will have over 20 on the line for Sports Spec at Camp Far West, a decent women's sport lamp too. All right, Wild West guys, are you guys gonna be streaming anything? Are you gonna have like a live camera going? Just, I know live streaming's hard to get it out there and get like good video, but even if you got a camera like a webcam, just kind of looking over and you got audio hooked up to it, it's better than nothing. At least you can hear what's going on. David Garcia is they're having a mandatory teardowns for top 3. David, who's having that? Is that Wild West doing that? East Coast has assembled a fantastic team. No problem. Florida man, what's going on? Heating, cooling, my dude. It's hot, son. It was beautiful racing in 90-degree weather and shorts, no shirt, no shoes, and able to sit in the water and actually relax. Ask your boy Sean Dudek. He got dehydrated. We would love to. We have Drone Guy getting some sick footage. Awesome. Perfect. What's up, Caldwell, my dude? Anyways, Bill Beers, we need a clash against East against West Sports Spec. All right. More good ideas, Bill Beers. Let's just continue growing our sport this year, get the lines full, and then let's set up for next year to have an East meets West. He says brutal hot. Come on, man. It was nice out. I wasn't even breaking a sweat, bro. Come on. Oh, Wild West for you guys out there. Now, I know a lot of you guys got upset last year when I jumped on Innocent Sport Boat, was pulling some hole shots. You guys thought I was cheating, but the video camera proved I was just that good. You ready? Your boy has already got his plane ticket, already ready, already bought, ready to go. Gonna be your announcer for the weekend. Gonna be there talking smack. Deets, you better get ready. We're gonna be talking some mad smack, getting some interviews, boots on the ground at Sparks. And I'm gonna jump on a sport boat. Maybe I'll take some of your guys' money too while we're at it. I'm just saying. Just saying. So Wild West guys, make sure you are focused and ready. Bring your A game. If you are unable to attend any race for Wild West, make sure you do attend at least one, and let that be Sparks. So we will be there. So make sure you bring your game. So I'm just saying, we're gonna be there. So speaking of racing, you flying into Plattsburgh or driving up? Baker, I'm not sure about East Coast Watercross yet. I definitely want to make it out to one of the trips out there. My schedule has to kind of like stay in a certain area because, you know, got a kid coming in September, October. So got to make sure. So I was just thinking West guys got nothing for esports spec. I'm telling you, man, the West Coast guys got to race those mod halls and stuff like that to compete with us East Coasters. I'm just saying. Michael Brown says, Junior Natty is about to be announced for Naughty Water. Stay tuned. Right on. So, we had our boy here. I'm clicking on the wrong one. Trey Williams sent me some good videos. And look, it's going to be retarded. Watch. Unbelievable. Wow. Good job, Facebook. You're really doing a class stand-up. Won't let me bring up the videos now. What the hell is going on here? There we go. All right, so we'll turn that off. And you're going to hear some wild noises here in a second because for some reason, watch it here. My computer audio's rough. All right. I think this is, Trey, is this the one where I missed the white buoy? Because, all right, so just to give you a heads up, on pole position, right? On pole position right here, right? For some reason, it has you aimed right at the second buoy. So you kind of had to be angled out, right? And it's only because of the way the course was set because of this nice sandbar over here. Dominic's going to see. You'll see me just pop out right here. Oh! So, oh no, this wasn't the one. I think this is where, yeah, it was just Dominic and them going at it. Wonder why it sounds like that. That's his camera. So this is going to be Trey versus Dominic right here. I think I had a dead engine start. So this would be the south end of the course, which has another split. So it looks like Dominic will probably go inside. Trey's going to go outside. Ooh. And just so you guys know, Trey's on a big old FX Cruiser, like a 3-seater. You start with no key on this one. Nah, it should have had sound. I don't know, it's sounding weird. It's probably my computer being stupid again. So Trey's going to go on the inside, which is going to be greens. Dominic went on the outside. Is this the one you got really close to him too, isn't it? Oh, yeah. Dominic on that Cowie 310 was murdering it. I don't know why the audio sounded like this. Oh, here we go. We give him a little love. You shoved him out of the yellow buoy. I don't know why the audio is all messed up. Here comes Dominic. This was a good battle. These two guys battled it badass all weekend. I thought you guys were going to kiss right here. Ooh. Ooh. Trey said he's getting pumped for P1. I am live on YouTube right now, yes. Because we'll be sharing on all of them, and then I'm going to turn off Facebook here pretty soon. Here comes Dominic. That was Dominic inside, outside. I don't know why the audio's all messed up, Trey. It sucks. Listen, Dan. I have never missed movies like that. That was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. Here, let's see if it'll bring it up. Just saying, the OG boat out there can put it working. Look at Trey. Trey making sure I get a full push. Bill Dearman's daughter, you guys better be ready. She can race. That girl can put a whooping out there. That Judge-built boat. Killer Keller, you guys can't take it away from Keller, boy. That dude, the old man, can be deaf as anything, but he's coming out hard. Where's it at? I don't know why the audio is so messed up. Yeah, it's not playing it. I don't know what's up with my audio. So jacked up. Alright, well, since the audio is all jacked up now, we have to do some research, find out what's going on with it, because that is ridiculous. Alright, so back on our subject. Alright, where are we at? We talked about that one. PWC sprint racing going on right now, right? That wasn't directed at you. You figured it out eventually. I knew you were looking at the wrong white. Dominic, so you were there, right? You could see, like, it was just set up funky. Like, I've raced a lot of courses. I've raced on the East Coast, West Coast, small regional, big national. You know, I learned with the big 30-plus buoy courses. I've raced in 4 to 6 foot rollers. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a problem with missing buoys. I can say I've always been confident in knowing course and knowing, you know, the experience behind me, get me through navigation. Whether I miss a buoy, knowing to hit the makeup buoy right away, and etc. And for some reason, like, it was like, if you ever been on a line, all you guys can vouch for this. If you're on pole position, in your mind, you always know that pole position is always lined up with the first buoy. It's just, that's just how it goes. So when you take off and you're going, it's like a tunnel vision, like straight up on the first go. And then you look, you're watching your side, making sure no one's coming in. It was probably like the most, I don't know, man. I think just because I haven't raced sport boat in so long or something like that, but I did on my runabout too. It was just weird. It was like the craziest thing ever. But match out to the guys that understand, like, that red flagged it, and they just made it happen and made changes. Like, I guess this really focusing, like, I can say this, like, as much as I've raced, and you can say this as racers, as many times as anyone's raced or is experienced, whether you're a veteran, expert, even a Dustin Farthing, you know, sometimes you just miss a buoy, you're not focused, or you got other things going on. It's always good to watch the course. And I can say this, that was the second race. I didn't really get a chance to, like, look at the course and stand in line and watch everything. So it's kind of like, that's just one of those things. Rookie move, amateur hour, whatever going on. What's up, McHenry? So going with that one. So PWC sprint racing, elbow to elbow. That's coming up here this weekend, I believe. Now, if you get a chance, John Block's really worked hard on this one. And they've talked about a lot of stuff right here. Now, we've already talked about the rules and stuff like that. And this is going to be pretty interesting. Do you race vintage? This could be your track. May 9th, 10th, 11th, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Pre-registration is open at the AJSARacing.com. It's going to be pretty interesting. If you guys haven't checked this out, you should probably check it out. Like, just go to the page, look it over. It's a bracket racing, simple format. This is how they're going to have it. They'll have a heat 1, 2, and 3. 6 racers go to the B show for points only, right? And then 6 racers go to the last chance qualifier. 1 racer advances to the show. And then the final show will be 7 racers. It's like bracket racing. If you guys had any chance doing street racing, it's the same kind of thing. Very interesting, real simple. I mean, it's strictly like a show and like burn and go, right? 9th, noon registration, 1 to 4 p.m. optional track log jump orientation, and log jump is open to be hit by sport boats and ski class. So make sure you happen. My man Tom Lambert in the room, man. That's what we got going on with that one. May 10th, 9 o'clock to 10 a.m. registration. 10-11 mandatory riders meeting with our induction at PWC Sprint Racing. Practice race, $15 entry fee. May 11th, Roundwood, Chattanooga Bowie Bash, $85 entry fee. Come and be a part of the very first PWC Sprint Racing Series. All new and exciting adventure in personal watercraft racing. It's going to be at Chester Frost Park, 2277 Gold Point Circle, Hitskin, Tennessee. Hot laps begin at 11 a.m. Saturday morning. Camping available for $35 a night. Dry pitting. It's an AJSA sanctioned event. For all rules, info, make sure you contact John Block right there. Talk to him. So there's that one. Also, if you just go to the page too, all the information is going to be on here also. Classes. There'll be WX 1050 stock, Superjet 701 760 setups, Cowie SXR 800, Superjet 4-stroke, Sports Spec. Additional possible classes will be your Junior Light, Ski Open, no CC limit, Sport Open, no CC limit, Stock 1100 runabout, Vintage Ski X2. A minimum of 4 racers must enter a class to have a race. No classes will be combined on the track. I like that. What else we got here? The last qualifying heat race before the show, the race field starting lineup will be inverted at the halfway mark of the race. Example, the starting line has 6 racers on the line for 8-lap race. On the lap 4, checker flag will come out, and all racers will return directly to the starting line. When the racetrack is cleared, the 2-minute sign will be displayed. This is time allowed for racers to get ready to run the second half of the event. Invert qualifying heat. The starting line will be inverted. The 6th position on the line is the first half. First half will have the pole position in the second half of the inverted qualifier. The pole position on the line in the first half will have the 6th position in the second half of the inverted qualifier. It's basically what they're doing is your first half of racers. If you finish, let's say I finished first, John finished second, Jonathan finishes third, it'll be inverted. So Jonathan will be third, be first, I'll be second, and then the other one will be third. So this is basically what we're doing. Probably like I'm an IGSBA Region 8 member. Per se, I wanted to race an AJS series. Would I have to pay for a full? No. So Brian Baker, for the AJSA membership, they have weekend passes. So if you only plan on attending like one weekend of racing for the year, you can just pay their weekend racing entry fee. So for more information, go to the PWC Sprint Racing Facebook page, and this is what you'll have right here. Interesting stuff. Get you some. Now, open chat room. Subjects. So we already talked about the sprint racing. We talked about Wild West and their money coming up for the race. And just so you guys know, right? Check this out. I'm not blocked. I knew I wasn't crazy, right? You just don't have to be Bobby Cardone to do it. So, let's see where their course was. I remember seeing the course. Where was it at? There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Big course. All right. I think that's it. Right? Open chat. Let's see what we got. Open chat. What do we got? Dustin says replying to Baker. They all said same thing. KW Photos. Good to see you on the YouTube. All right. What's Caldwell said? Big news. What we got? Big news. John Caldwell says, big news coming from the Caldwell Racing guys Thursday. Stay tuned. Oh, snap. East Coast, which time? Those white buoys were hard for Bobby. They were pretty tough, man. I didn't want to do that to you. I looked to the left and you're coming at 45 straight for us. Dude, I hooked that buoy hard, though. It was like, I looked over, I go, oh, this is stupid, Bobby. We're in a world of shit. Amateur hour, bro. 4 different color buoys, or 5. Did Miller move to Sea-Doo? Oh, man. Catching up. Let's see, where are we at? Anything else? See everyone soon at Camp Far West. Richard Freeberg, what's going on? Wisconsin's in the house. What else? Block says the invert, it does not matter how you finish. The starting line inverts. Okay. Jonathan says sit downs are gay. You're just mad because you race a smaller sit down. Brian Baker says, as always, racers traveling afar, as much as you check your skis in PWC, check those trailers. I've already said that about the trailers. Zazinski didn't listen to me about that one. Live coverage was on point for Pro Watercross. Baker says, replying to Jonathan, Jonathan McKinney, she loves when we go to the middle of the lake and just float. Oh, man, that's so funny. Oh, man. All right, finishing up. One thing I say is, guys, make sure you guys keep putting in the information for racing. You got to remember, change only happens. Hold on. Mike, should I say anything about this now? Sean Morris, Todd blew out the front tire on his tow vehicle, not the trailer. I thought the trailer blew out. Is he in the room? I just got a message about something. I don't know if I want to put it out there unless I'm allowed to. But what I was saying before is make sure we keep putting in the work, guys. Work with our promoters and continue racing. Driver front. Damn, Zarzinski, that's wild right there, bro. Whew. I'm glad you were able to drive. That had to have been wild out. Those Sprinter vans do not like getting blown out tires front. Shout out to our promoters across the nation. Not going to kid you, but the Fraser interview on YouTube is worth a watch. Hey, Baker, if you think that was a good interview, just wait until I have him on the show. I've been talking to him for almost a year now, and we are waiting for the right moment for him to come on the show. And I promise you this, when he comes on, it ain't going to be an hour long. It's probably going to be 2 hours long, and the chat room's going to be blowing up, right? Let's hold off until I get dates confirmed. Okay, Mike. The chat room's going to blow up. There's going to be over 100 people in the room, just like when we have Pastrana and Vanilla Ice. And I promise you, the words and the talk and the conversations are going to be remembered for years. The most replayed Cardone show you'll ever imagine. Just saying. It would be great to have a year-end final in Florida. That would be badass. It would be really good. He's retiring soon. That's the whole point, Baker. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why when he talks, there's going to be no holds barred. That's why I've been waiting. Got this. I know how to do this, bro. I know how to do the interviews the right way. I like to get the good juicy stuff, to have the fun conversations, to know like tiptoeing around anything and be like, oh, well, I heard. No, we're just going to bring it out. Work with our promoters. Now, remember, I'll finish up with a thing. We got 10 more minutes. Someone was saying, also a conversation, that there's so much racing going on that we're flooding the scene, right? Now, you guys as promoters, whether you're an IJSB or AJSA or you're an Outlaw Series, I would say that you're all working very well of not trying to step on each other's toes and work with each other promoters and getting racing going on. Now, mind you, you West Coast guys have, like, I don't know how many more times, even I see this, how many times can you race at Havasu Beach before you finally say, this is boring. This has got to be the wore out, pass around chick or dude I've ever been to. You guys got to, like, stop beating that dead bush and find some good locations. And that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Get out of your norm and go somewhere else that you haven't raced. It really fine-tunes your racing, right? I'm telling you like this. When you race with the same old over and over again, how much more talent are you going to gain unless you experience outside your norm? You will learn so much more traveling to other events. Even if you pick, let's say your region, it's in your backyard, your most traveled is 2 hours, right? And that's 6 races that you have to travel 2 hours for each one of them. Maybe 6 at the most, right? Why don't you take the one race that's the longest, right, and take it to a different venue, right? I know like a California guy going to Havasu, or a Havasu guy going to California, or whatever. It's like me going all the way up to Region 8 and racing over there, or me going to Texas and racing one of the Naughty Wall races, or me going over to Chattanooga to race one of the AGSA races, when I can race right here in Florida and I can race the P1 I want. If you travel and go to one other event other than your norm, the experience you're going to get will take you to the next level. And I'm telling you right now, that is probably one of the best things that I have learned in my years of traveling, is learning to race with a lot of people outside of my norm has really fine-tuned me into the ability of racing that I am, because you have to change your way. Because when you race with the same people that you're used to, you're comfortable with, you already can predict the changes in the lines and stuff like that. When you race with people you've never had to race, it challenges you as a person, as a racer, to use more instinct and talent than you've ever experienced. And that's the kind of level of racing you want to bring yourself. Work with other promoters, take a chance and go to one event that you normally wouldn't go to and travel it. And if anything, get a freaking trailer loaded up and bring 2 or 3 more people, split the cost, and go out there and hang out and have a good time. It's never going to change. It's not going to hurt you, right? Unless you just go out there and be a jerk and you get hurt. But it never hurts to take a chance and experience something you haven't been able to do. The Region 8 guys came all the way to Florida for a race in February, and they all had a blast, right? Take a chance, work out some deals, and if you plan on doing it and you're kind of worried or you have some questions, reach out to that promoter and say, hey, look, hey, Wild West, I'm coming up from California. I got like 4 other racers that might be interested. You know, you never know. They might reach out and give you an opportunity, you know, spot you a spot where they don't charge you camping or something like that. I don't know. Reach out. I promise you it never hurts to mingle. Steve Hotchkiss says East Coast has been to 3 different series in what, 3 months? Put the work in to build the best series. Definitely. The regional promoters are doing amazing. I have to say the same thing. I got no complaints. I really feel like when it comes down to it, guys, I know in prior years we were already bitching about certain things going down. We were already having problems and certain things going down. Like, we were always coming on a show griping about something. We've got good racing going on right now. Some promoters don't have it good, but they're putting in effort. There's a lot of promoters that have seen and listened and heard what people are saying in the chat room, and that's what's out right there. So, really comes down to it. That is the reality that we're putting in it. I'm just saying. What else can we say about it? You know the routine. You know the routine. You know the routine. It is Monday Night Raw. It is Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw. It is the one. It is the one and only 239 race. Till next time. Till next time.